So let's be honest, most people fail on YouTube not because they don't work hard, but because they keep repeating the same silent mistakes that kill channels before they even have a chance to grow. You can spend hours editing, designing thumbnails, and studying the algorithm, but if you're making even 3 of these mistakes, YouTube's not going to promote your videos, and you're going to keep on wondering why nothing is working. So today I'm going to share every single YouTube mistake that is killing your channel, from bad habits that you can fix in a single day to fatal ones that are going to keep you stuck at 200 views forever. Because the truth is, YouTube does not reward effort. It rewards you when you understand the algorithm. So if you want to finally stop wasting your time and start growing, pay attention to where the biggest mistakes land from this list on your channel. Let's start from the top with mistake number 1, which is not defining your niche early. Now, most creators start their YouTube journey like tourists with a camera, right? They're exploring all the topics that feel exciting in that very moment, but that's exactly why they never actually build real momentum. YouTube isn't just a video platform. It's actually a recommendation engine, and it's an engine that runs on patterns. So when you're posting random videos about fitness, motivation, and side hustles all on the same channel, YouTube system has no idea who to show you to. And here's a data-backed reality check. According to multiple studies, over 70% of YouTube views come from recommendations, not search. That means that your entire growth depends way less on keywords and more on consistency of the topic, the tone, and the viewer type that you're trying to attract, right? So if your niche isn't actually clear, then the algorithm can't recognize your audience. And if the algorithm can't recognize your audience, your videos don't get tested in front of the right people. So instead of chasing this kind of broad reach channel, your goal early on should be to laser focus. Pick one niche and master how you speak to that audience, and then only expand from there once you've had traction. Because the fastest way to grow on YouTube isn't by reaching everybody, it's about becoming the obvious choice for somebody. Mistake number 2 is not starting because your workflow isn't perfect yet. Now, this one genuinely destroys more channels than bad thumbnails ever could. Most people spend months, they're tweaking their systems, researching gear, and building that perfect setup, but never actually hit upload. And here's the truth, your first 20 videos are supposed to suck, and they're not practice runs, they're actually data collection. Every single upload that you put on YouTube teaches you something about pacing, retention, and what your audience actually cares about. So there's a classic story about a pottery class. A teacher split students into 2 groups. One group was graded on the quantity of pots that they made, and they had to create one every single day for 30 days. And the other group was graded on quality. They had just 30 days to make the perfect pot. By the end of the month, the group that made a pot every single day produced far better work. Why? Well, because the quality group spent 30 days theorizing while the quantity group spent 30 days learning through repetition, right? They improved through failure and they iterated through actually doing. And that's exactly how YouTube works. Creators who wait until the perfect moment never actually make it past the starting line. Meanwhile, the ones who actually upload messy and imperfect videos learn 10 times faster because they're collecting data in real time. Even Mr. Beast said that his first 100 views got no traction, but he just kept on uploading because each one gave him a new variable to test. And if you think you need the perfect workflow to start, that mindset is going to be the exact reason you never actually build a successful channel. You don't need to figure out your systems before you start. You need to build them while you're actually in motion. And now this takes us to mistake number 3, which is focusing on the tools instead of focusing on the storytelling. What I found is that one of the biggest traps in faceless YouTube is thinking that growth comes from having the perfect setup, right? The best AI voice, the best editing softwares, the right stock footage, the right templates, the right plugins. Guys, none of that matters if the storytelling sucks. Our faceless channels don't blow up because of the visuals. They actually blow up because they have a clean structure in place. Clean pacing, creating curiosity throughout the video, and adding tension and payoffs, and also just having information delivered in a way that makes people want to actually keep watching. Now, YouTube itself states that the algorithm heavily prioritizes watch time and retention above everything else. So not quality of the video, not the transitions, and definitely not all those special effects that you're adding. So if you're spending hours and hours upgrading your tools and your softwares and the visuals, but only spending 30 minutes writing the scripts, that is why your videos are not taking off. A weak story with great visuals is still a weak video. right? But a great story with simple visuals can go viral on its own. So guys, the tools are going to help you. But in the end, you need to get good at storytelling because it always wins. Mistake number 4 is lack of scripting structure. Now, parallel to what I just mentioned, most creators don't fail because their ideas are bad. They fail because the structure is essentially non-existent. Their videos just ramble, they start slow, they repeat themselves, right? They wonder why they're off track and the viewers leave before the video even gets going. And I mean, maybe you've experienced that yourself, right? The brutal truth is that a good script isn't just written, it's engineered. There's a reason why most of the biggest faces channels follow the exact same frameworks. Structure is what keeps the viewers watching, and retention is what makes YouTube actually push your videos into the millions. So here's a breakdown of why structure actually matters. Starting off on the top, you have the hook, and the hook locks people in. If you don't give the viewers clarity and invoke curiosity in the first 10 to 30 seconds, at least 50% of them are gone. And that's coming straight from YouTube data. And the second thing is the middle, which must constantly reward the viewer. So try and make a habit where every 20 to 30 seconds or so, the viewer gets a mini payoff. Maybe that's going to be like a new insight or a twist or a surprising detail or the classic pattern interrupt or something like a curiosity gap. This is how outlier channels are able to maintain a 50 to 70% retention on a 10 to 20 minute video. And finally, the third is the ending. It should really come faster than you expect, right? Long outros will actually kill your video. A tight ending actually boosts the average view duration and makes YouTube recommend the rest of your channel. Just imagine here for a second that you can sense that this video is coming to an end. Naturally and subconsciously, you're going to start looking for the next thing, or you're going to close off the tab or whatever it is. And if I have this drawn out outro, maybe around like 30 seconds or maybe a minute or plus long, then that means I'm actually losing that 30 seconds to 1 minute of watch time. Versus if I just end abruptly, then I get to capture a 100% retention on my video, which obviously YouTube is going to favor and be a good signal to push it out to more people. So if your script has no structure, it doesn't matter how good the idea is, the viewer feels lost. If they feel bored or overwhelmed, they're gone. But when the script is structured, even a simple idea becomes addictive. Mistake number 5 is copying other channels without understanding why they work. This is a very common one. A lot of creators think that they're modeling success, but what they're really doing is just blind copying. They're mimicking the thumbnail style, the voiceover tone, the pacing, even the video length. Everything is the exact same, even the topics. But they wonder why their version flops. Here's the truth that most people do not realize. When you copy a successful channel, you're copying the result, not the reason. For example, one of my students posted this video and they generated almost 5 million views in just 1 month, which by the way generated over $11,000. Naturally, a bunch of people went into straight copying this topic the exact same way. And here's what it looked like for them. So as you can see, the results are quite poor. And then there's this channel here who also copied the video, but put a little bit of a slight and unique twist on it. And it absolutely took off, right? Just like my students do. Instead of copying the title one for one, he changed it to what your blood type reveals about you. And then for the thumbnail, he kept it quite simple and quite similar, but again, made it unique enough so it still feels different and new. So putting in this creative effort is what separates this video from all the other flops that I showed you. And that is what's actually required to copy a video and win. Don't just blind copy, guys. The algorithm will punish you if you're a straight copycat. If viewers feel like they've already seen your video from a bigger creator, they won't even click. So the creators who win don't just copy the output, but they actually study the mechanics behind the output. And then they reverse engineer why that video held attention, what emotional triggers it used, and how they created curiosity every 20, 30 seconds. And if you follow those same mechanics, you'll see results just like that video. And now this leads us to mistake number 6, which is creating videos that nobody is searching for. Now, this is one of the most painful mistakes that you can make, because you can put hours into your video and still end up with 37 views. It's not because it's bad, it's because nobody was looking for it in the first place. Remember, YouTube is a search and recommendation engine. If you make a video with no existing demand, the algorithm has no data signals of who it should be shown to. So here's the reality. Every successful channel, faceless or not, grows by tapping into topics that have already a proven demand. They have existing search volume, clear audience intent, and a strong emotional hook. So when you create something obscure, like why dolphins might secretly be aliens on a brand new channel, well, guess what? At this point, you're relying 100% on luck. There's no search traffic for that. There's no related topics. There's no related videos. There's no topic clusters. There's no built-in audience, right? But what if you did something like 10 scary ocean facts you didn't know? Or creatures in the deep sea that shouldn't even exist, or something like why whales are smarter than you think. All those already have demand, right? People are already watching similar videos on YouTube, and YouTube has data that they can work with. So your video organically plugs into the existing traffic highways. And that's why new channels who choose topics strategically will always grow faster than channels who just upload whatever they like. Now, here's a simple rule of thumb. If nobody is searching for the topic, no one is searching for the video. So make sure that you're creating videos that people are already proven to care about, where there's interest. And then you just add your own unique angle inside that demand. That's how you grow. Mistake number 7 is weak titles. Guys, your title is the single and most important line of text in your entire business. It decides whether someone gives you 10 minutes of their life or scrolls past in half a second. And most people treat it like it's an afterthought. They upload the video, and then they throw a title in like 20 seconds. And then they wonder why no one clicked. Here's a reality. A weak title kills your video before that video even starts, because the algorithm only pushes out what people actually want to click on. YouTube themselves said this. If your title doesn't spark curiosity, if it doesn't promise value, your video is never going to get impressions. And even if the content is absolutely amazing, it will not get shown. Most weak titles fall into 3 different categories. They're either too vague, too literal, or they just invoke zero curiosity. Here's a few examples of some high performing titles. All right, I wrote them down over here. So, this decision destroyed my financial life. The most painful way to die in history. Or I tried living like a billionaire for a week. Or even better yet, the dark truth about passive income. So all these really pack a punch. They have a lot of emotion. They draw out a lot of curiosity, tension, conflict, payoff, right? But weak titles will equal a weak click-through rate. And a weak click-through rate will equal low impressions. Low impressions will equal a dead video. And if you spend 10 hours making a video and 2 minutes writing a title, you're essentially working upside down, right? A strong title isn't just a decoration for a video. It's the lever that moves the entire video into the algorithm. Mistake number 8 is unclear or bland thumbnails. Now, your thumbnail is the billboard for the video, and most creators are just putting up billboards that nobody can read, that nobody understands, or nobody even cares about. Bland and simple thumbnails will instantly kill viewers' interest because they make that decision if they want to watch your video in about 0.2 seconds. And if the brain can't process what your video is in about a glance, it defaults to just ignoring it. Now, the most common thumbnail killers are either having way too much text on your thumbnail, or it looks like a PowerPoint slide. And if it's either of the two, it's over. People don't read, they react. If your thumbnails have no clear subject, if there's like a random collage of images, or the concept itself requires a lot of decoding, that is just a big no-no, right? If the viewer basically has to figure it out, you've already lost, right? The third thing is also no emotion, no tension, right? Viewers click when they feel something like fear or curiosity or confusion or shock or desire or conflict. If your thumbnail is emotionally flat, so is your click-through rate. And number 4 is just being over-designed. Now, this is a big one for faceless creators. They try so hard to make the cool thumbnails that they end up just being clustered, noisy, or just impossible to understand. Remember this, guys. Pretty doesn't necessarily mean clickable, right? Now look at thumbnails that consistently win. They usually have one clear subject, a single dominant emotion or area, and they also have clear contrast. Don't forget contrast, right? Also tension or curiosity, essentially just giving you instant clarity on what the thumbnail is. Think of it like this. A good thumbnail will slap you in the face with meaning, and a bad one will politely tap you on the shoulder and hope you care. Here's the truth, guys. Your thumbnail normally contributes to 60 to maybe 70% of the actual click-through rate, which means that the growth lives and dies by the image that you put on the screen for the viewer. So if the thumbnails don't stop the scroll, your videos don't stand a chance. Mistake number 9 is slow or confusing intros. Oof. Nothing kills a video faster than a slow, vague, or an overly creative intro. And most creators think that they're building anticipation, but what they're actually doing is building friction. And the data that YouTube shows itself tells us that most videos lose around 20 to 30% of viewers in the first 10 to 30 seconds. That's not because the topic is bad. We've talked about this. It's because intros waste time, right? Faceless creators do this a lot. They'll add a 10-second logo animation, that adds zero input. They'll add a 10-second intro animation, which adds zero value. Or they'll have 45 seconds of unnecessary context before the video starts. Or random B-roll that dumps and doesn't push the story forward. And then they'll add the classic, "Hey guys, my name is so-and-so, and welcome back to the channel. Please make sure to like and subscribe and tell your mom, dad, and dog about the video," so on and so forth. And guys, every second of fluff at the beginning is just telling your viewer that this video doesn't respect your time. And so the viewer will respond by just clicking off. So the best intros do 3 specific things. They tell you exactly what the video is about. They'll inject curiosity or tension, and they'll start delivering value almost immediately. So if you look at these retention graphs from the breakout video, you'll see a pattern. There'll usually be a little bit of a dip at the beginning and then a flat line, retaining everybody. That's what happens when the intro is clean, it's fast, and delivers instantly. Slow intros don't just hurt your retention, they actually kill the entire video because YouTube assumes that people got disappointed, they move on to the next creator. So fast intro equals more retention equals more reach. And guys, more reach equals more money. It all starts in the first 30 seconds. Mistake number 10 is no consistent system or production pipeline. Now, most creators treat YouTube like a hobby, which is why their results also look like a hobby. They upload when they feel inspired. Their workflow changes every single week, and every video becomes this unpredictable, stressful task because nothing is actually standardized, right? Here's the truth. If your production isn't predictable, your results won't be either. The creators who win, especially in the faceless space, aren't just good at making videos. They're good at building systems. Think about channels that post 2 to 3 high-quality videos every single week. They don't rely on motivation. They rely on a pipeline. And when you don't have one, everything becomes harder. Every video feels like you're just reinventing the wheel. Every task requires fresh decision-making, and every part of the process depends on your energy, your mood, and the free time that you have, instead of having an organized system that lets you move efficiently. But once you build systems, everything changes. Video production becomes a process, not this emotional roller coaster. You stop guessing, you stop winging it, and you start producing videos predictably and sustainably, all at scale. And YouTube automation systems are the business. Without them, you're not running a channel, the channel's running you. Now, mistake number 11 is chasing every single trend instead of building a long-term brand. YouTube is an extremely intelligent recommendation machine. Its entire goal is simple: find people who are likely to watch your videos. But when you are posting random, different trending topics, each one having a different tone, different audience, it makes it almost impossible for the algorithm to find more viewers. You're essentially giving YouTube a moving target. One video attracts sports fans, the next crypto bros, the next true crime. And so the algorithm goes, I have no idea who your channel is for. And when the system can categorize you, it won't push you. And this is what happens when you try and chase every single trend. Your audience never learns what to expect. Every single video brings in a different type of viewer, and your watch history becomes absolutely chaotic. That's why your retention drops, because no one is the right viewer, and YouTube struggles to find your ideal audience, right? So trends can create spikes, but spikes don't build channels. Brands do. And when you build a brand, everything changes. Now, mistake number 12 is something that kills a lot of channels: expecting fast monetization. One of the fastest ways to kill your motivation is just believing that this stuff is supposed to blow up overnight. People see a channel go from 0 to 100K in 3 months, and they assume immediately that that's normal, because it's not. That is what we call an anomaly. And when you compare your progress to anomalies, you destroy your own confidence before the algorithm even has a chance to reward you. We all know that comparison is the thief of joy, and that applies to YouTube very, very well. If you want a perspective check, go on Google right now and search, how long does it take for the average channel to get monetized on YouTube? The average answer is 1 to 2 years. That's the normal timeline for an average creator without guidance, without systems, and without proper direction to achieve monetization. And here's where the paradox comes in, because I've helped so many students get monetized incredibly fast. Like, my current average for getting a student monetized is 3 to 6 weeks. Now, that sets some pretty unrealistic expectations for new creators watching from the outside. They think fast monetization is normal, when in reality, it's the reward of having a proven system and a mentor who keeps them from making mistakes that we're all talking about. But if you're doing YouTube alone, if you're figuring everything out from scratch, well, expecting instant monetization is the quickest way to fail, because it sets results. Guys, YouTube inherently takes time. It's a long-term compounding game. You cannot just compare yourself to the rare exceptions. You have to compare yourself to the hundreds of other channels that are also growing steadily and sustainably. If you focus on consistency, structure, and improvements over time, the money will always follow. Now, mistake number 13 is trying to do everything yourself forever. This is one of the biggest bottlenecks for most faceless channels. They try and be the entire team. The writer, the researcher, the voiceover, the editor, the thumbnail designer, the manager, the analyst, all one person, all at one time. And that might work for the first 5-10 videos, but after that, it becomes the exact reason you stop growing. Here's the truth that nobody likes hearing. You are the most expensive part of your business. If you spend all day doing low-level tasks, you never get time to focus on high-level decisions, the things that actually move the needle forward, aka picking winning topics, analyzing your retention graphs and trying to find ways to improve it, or working on your storytelling skills, or testing new thumbnails, or building systems, or just trying to find strategic ways to grow your channel. Creators who refuse to outsource eventually will always hit a ceiling because they're trying to scale using time instead of leverage, and your time will always run out. Meanwhile, the channels that blow up, especially on YouTube automation, grow because the creator actually becomes more of the director, not a one-man production line. They build small, reliable teams and delegate out the repetitive work. They keep their bandwidth high and focus it on the things that create impact. YouTube is literally built on ideas and systems and support. If you're trying to do everything alone forever, you're not saving money, you're actually slowing down progress. Mistake number 14 is overproducing or underproducing videos. Now, most creators fall into one of the two extremes, and both of them are gonna choke your channel. First, we have the overproducers. They spend 40 hours editing a 7-minute video, add unnecessary transitions, obsess over the tiny details that nobody ever notices, and they burn themselves out before they even get consistent. The result? Slow output, no momentum, constant burnout, and a channel that looks beautiful on the outside, but barely ever grows. Because on YouTube, perfect loses to consistency every single time. Then we have the underproducers. These are the people that are like, fine, I'll just upload something. They rush the scripts, they use whatever footage they can find, and they throw together videos with no structure, no pacing, and no emotional weight. And the obvious result is having a very low retention, weak click-through rates, and nobody finishes the video, and the algorithm just never pushes their content. Underproducing makes you forgettable, overproducing makes you slow, and both of them make it nearly impossible to build traction. And then we have mistake number 15, which is quitting too soon. Oh, guys, this is the mistake that kills most people because it has nothing to do with talent, has nothing to do with editing, thumbnails. It has everything to do with patience, and most people don't fail on YouTube. They actually just quit before they ever experience what success feels like. And here's the very uncomfortable truth. You are always closer than you think. Most channels don't die because the niche was too competitive or the algorithm didn't like them. They died because the creators stopped uploading right before the data finally started compounding. YouTube is a game of delayed rewards and delayed gratification. You put in effort today and get paid months later. You make improvements now and the algorithm recognizes them later. The channels you see that are exploding out of nowhere, guys, 99% of the time, that wasn't overnight success. That was sitting on top of 20 videos that nobody watched and dozens of thumbnails that flopped and scripts that they weren't confident in, weeks where their motivation was gone, and tons of different moments where they almost quit. But the difference between them and everyone else is very simple. They kept on going for long enough for YouTube to just finally understand them. Guys, the simple truth is that the algorithm needs data, and data comes from consistency, and consistency comes from not quitting when it feels pointless. And here's the crazy part is that most creators' breakthrough videos happen when they've already uploaded 20 to 30 videos. But most creators quit at literally 7 to 12, if they're even lucky. They literally quit before the platform even has enough information to help them. So quitting early isn't just failure, it's a literal tragedy, because you never even find out how close you were. And I'm telling you now, you don't need to be the best. You just need to outlast the version of you that gives up too early. Guys, apply all this and dial in your next 30 videos and watch what happens. And if you want the exact frameworks that my students use to scale their channels to 5 and 6 figures, click the link in the description. I'll see you guys there.